Now, Matric pupils who did not pass the 2016 National Senior Certificate have been given a green light by the Department of Basic Education to enroll for a second chance Matric support program. To unpack this, we are now joined in studio by Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. Elijah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, the second chance program, how does it work and what sort of requirements are needed for one to qualify?
Well, the Second Chance Matric Support Program was launched in 2016, at the beginning of 2016, by the Minister to assist those that would not have passed grade 12 to come back and take another opportunity to write the examinations. Here we are talking about those that failed some subjects and want to rewrite those subjects. So we are now able to offer them a whole range of support services that are aimed at supporting them as they prepare for the supplementary examination. So you need to have written last year and present yourself with your results at a school or a district office for you to be assisted.
Oh, and is that where they register, so they can go to any government school or public school, and that's how the registration is done?
Yes, you need to go to a district office or a school. Some schools have been able to help them, but district offices are there. We have information on our website which will give you a name and contact number of a provincial coordinator who will give you all the details that you require.
What makes this program different? We've seen online digital programs before come and go, and some not being as successful. What is different with the Second Chance program? We
have never had a coordinated program like we have now. This one is comprehensive. It is available in all provinces. It is free. All the services are free. The SABC plays a big part in this program because there are videos that are available on the SABC website which people can download. We also have centers where people can go, our teacher centers right across the country, where people can go to access internet for free, to download the material, print it, take it home, or watch the videos, or even listen to the audio lessons as well. And all of those things were never there before. And we have other partners as well that are assisting us. So we have broadcasts, but also have contact centers for those that still want a teacher to stand in front of them and help them, but also utilize the opportunity of asking additional questions around the subject that is giving you some challenges.
Now, I know it's called the Second Chance program. What about students who go through the program and still don't do well? Do they get another chance with the Second Chance program?
That's a good question. In fact, what we've seen is that since we launched the program, we have people who never passed Matric many years ago, including 10 years ago, for example, coming through saying, I want to finish my Matric. We have a package for those as well. So what happens is that we prioritize those that are writing supplementary examinations because that is happening next month.
Okay.
February. But there is another writing opportunity in May and June for other people. You have another one in November. So all that you need to do is to present yourself to the department, tell us who you are, when you wrote, what you failed, what assistance you need. We'll then be able to assist you by directing you to the right place for your group of people.
Now, direction to the right place. Elijah comes in, he needs to supplement maybe 7 subjects. What happens then in that case? Because it does happen where somebody doesn't do well in all 7 subjects or 8 subjects.
It does happen that you fail everything. It depends. I mean, we can ask you to go back and sit in a classroom for a full year and repeat the entire year. In a situation like that, we would really recommend that, because the Second Chance Matric Support Program is for those people who want to write 1 or 2 or 3 subjects and are now able to use the opportunities that we've made available for them.
Now, let's speak about equal education, which took the Department of Education to court for failing to implement infrastructure provisions in schools. How far is that process? What happened? What's the situation there?
No, as a department, we continue to work. Remember, there are various grants in which we fund school infrastructure. The provinces are given budgets by the Department of Basic Education to use that money for school infrastructure, and they do a lot of work as far as that is concerned. But as DBE, we also have our own program called ACD, which is Accelerated School Infrastructure Delivery Initiative, through which we replace smart schools and other schools built of inappropriate material. And through that, we've made a lot of progress. We've built over 170 brand new schools with laboratories, big classrooms, grade R facilities, and other facilities that you can't find anywhere else. But we have sort of slowed down on that because we are realizing that, particularly in the Eastern Cape, some of the schools that we've built are half empty, which means people are moving away from the Eastern Cape to the Western Cape, where there's now a huge demand for schooling, to Gauteng, where people are upset because they're waiting to have the department place their learners in school. So that is exactly what is happening. You find people moving from rural areas to the urban centers. So while you talk about building a new school, think about a school that has been built brand new with good facilities, but is half empty.
Now, just speaking of the Eastern Cape, a huge problem where the Provincial Education Department returned millions to national education. How does that happen?
It does happen. Issues of capacity are serious challenges that provinces are facing because for the section that deals with school infrastructure, you need people that come from the built environment. You need professionals, and government cannot match the salaries that they get paid in the private sector. So as you employ one person, 6 months later they are leaving. You advertise again, it takes you 3 to 4 months to get that person. You employ them, 3 months later they are leaving again. So that's what has happened, and it leads to capacity challenges, which means you don't have the right people, the brain's trust that will allow you to conceptualize projects and see them to finish. And that's what happened in the Eastern Cape. But right now, as we speak, they have a team of young professionals who are doing a great job. They've been able to commit monies into infrastructure. They've already done a lot of work. In fact, the last time when we met them, they were so unhappy that such amount of money had been returned to the national department. And they felt that that money could have been used to build schools, because there's a huge need for school infrastructure improvement, particularly in the Eastern Cape, because that province has the highest number of mud schools and other schools built of inappropriate material.
And just you mentioned the fact that you know, the supply or presence of teachers, qualified teachers, to ensure that matriculants or pupils do well in school. The province was again the bottom of the provinces in terms of their Matric results. Yeah,
they were at the bottom, but they actually registered an improvement from the previous results. So while we look at the fact that they are last in terms of the log, let's also look closely at the results and see that in fact they had the highest percentage of learners taking physical science and actually passing that subject, which means as much as Eastern Cape is right there at the bottom, there's a lot that they're doing right in terms of curriculum learning outcomes, which is something that we need to commend them for, because they also have a good number of programs that they are running. For example, their learner retention strategies are working. They're able to keep learners in school much longer than other provinces. So there's something to learn from the Eastern Cape. We shouldn't give up on the Eastern Cape. There are many challenges, but we need to give them a chance, support them, monitor what they do, and make sure that they receive the necessary support that they deserve.
Public schools opening tomorrow, 2.3 million pupils enroll for the 2017 school calendar. Is the department ready?
We are ready. We've been managing the 12 million learners in our education system for some time now. We always prepare for the following year, like 3 months to the end of the current year. So that has helped us to prepare adequately for any eventuality. But you always have challenges, because you project certain numbers of learners that will come to a particular school, but invariably there's always a higher number than you anticipated. So we need to make sure that we provide for them in terms of the physical space, the furniture, the textbooks, the stationery, and all of those things. And we believe that provinces have done a lot of work in that regard. But of course, any eventuality that may arise tomorrow, we believe that we'll be able to deal with it, because teachers have already been in school for 2 days.
Yes, they've already been preparing and getting ready. But now a huge problem. Students who are not registered with any school. Some are registered, but for instance, the Gauteng province, where 58,000, that's a huge number. How is the department going to be able to ensure that these pupils are enrolled and you know, they don't stay at home and get disenchanted and not attending school, whereas their friends and peers are registered and already going to school?
We have an obligation to allocate spaces to all our learners, especially when they present themselves to school. with their parents in this particular case. But the reality here in Gauteng is that the schools are full, and that's a fact. Unfortunately, people will have to wait while the district officials are trying to find spaces in different schools. But what is happening is that parents insist on going to particular schools. They don't want to go to a school that you're suggesting that they must go to. If you go to the schools, they are all full. We have used the available physical spaces to put mobile classrooms. That also is not helping. The Gauteng Education Department has been handing over a new school every month since January 2016. And it's from tomorrow, they'll be handing a school a month for the whole year of 2017. And I can tell you, next year, same time, we'll be talking about exactly the same thing, because each time Gauteng advertises its success, it attracts people from outside the province to come to Gauteng. So that is what is happening. So we appeal to people to be patient while a plan is being made to allocate spaces to their children. As we know, every year, as you mentioned, the fact that it is a problem annually. How does the department, how is the department going to work around that problem? Building schools in the right areas where people want to be. You see, the problem is that people are looking for job opportunities. That's why they're leaving the rural areas, coming to the cities. So there's not much that we can do in education about that, because the unemployment situation is beyond our control. We have to make do with what we have. Unfortunately, Gauteng, Western Cape are under a huge pressure to accommodate learners. Last year in November, when we reported the portfolio committee, there were some 30,000 learners who were not placed as yet in the Western Cape. And at that time, in Gauteng, it was 120,000. Today, we say 58,000, because most of them, their numbers have been given to different schools. But you also have a problem where parents have not submitted all the documents that are required. I have been to schools in the past 2 days to check what is happening. The system can tell you that these parents did not submit all the documents. And because of that, you can't confirm them. You can't confirm their children as having been secured in a particular school, because there are documents that are still outstanding. So that's one of the issues that we need to deal with as well, that parents need to comply in full with the requirements before their children are admitted. That's why the process is slow. Now, Elijah, finally, what's the estimated waiting period for a lot of these parents who are probably frustrated and they're probably watching you and thinking, Elijah, we've submitted every document that was requested from us? Once schools open, it becomes easy, because then you see who has come and who has not come, and you see whatever positions that had been confirmed late last year and they've now been abandoned by some people, because it happens. Yes. Once those spaces begin to open up, then new spaces become available. You can give those spaces to other people. So that's what we are waiting for. So tomorrow will be an important day, but from my experience, particularly in 2016, we have seen that in 3 days we can reduce the numbers quite drastically. Last year we were able to cut down the numbers by about 15 or so thousand. So we believe that in the next 2 weeks, all the learners should have been placed. Elijah, thank you so much for joining us. That was Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga joining us live in studio.